Hey guys, on today's episode we're going to install some shocks and springs on Project Miata. So at the moment I already have the car jacked up with the tires off. We're going to start in the back and let me show you the shocks we got. So I believe these are the fronts. These are just some generic brand that I bought on eBay. Believe it or not, I bought all 4 shocks for I think 120 bucks shipped. I'll put the link in the description down below. Give you some tips along the way, so I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get started. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start taking off the top hat of the rear. We're gonna use a 14 with a small extension, all 3/8, and start loosening it up. All right, so we're gonna start with taking off the link for the rear sway bar. I'm gonna use 2 14s. And every time you take off the bolt, put your stuff back so you don't lose. You're not chasing your tail on this part. The next bolt we're going to take out is this. I believe they're 2 14s.
Stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on 2 separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions.
Now the next thing
on 2 separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension, impossible to obtain on normal recording.
Shocks out. Cool. Don't try this at home with your stock springs. These are the Tein, so they're already kind of smaller, so there's not that much tension in here. So we had to take this part off. If you have the stock ones, get some at AutoZone. You can get some spring compressors so this thing doesn't shoot out. I'm gonna go ahead and step on this, and hopefully I don't get hurt. There, it's out. See, these are not that bad. The stock ones are worse. So let me show you how bad this spring was, or how bad the shock was. This stays stuck. It's supposed to come back, so it's not absorbing anything. And it's all blown out, as you can see. This is a bad shock. Let me show you a good one. So here's the replacement. As you can see, when I hit this down, shoots back up. That's what you want. See, look at this one, hasn't even gone back up yet. And you can feel the different stiffness. Like these are hard to put down, these will go down easy. Look at that. That's when you know you have a bad shock. Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and install the shock and spring setup. So you line up your holes on the top. Drop it in here, and then I'm gonna jack it up a little more so it gets in through this guy. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put this one in now. Just for the upper control arm. There, got it in. I'm gonna drop the jack a little bit.
Each one giving special emphasis
About
to
there,
certain sections of the
I think.
orchestra, as heard from those positions.
A little more.
Now, when played back simultaneously on 2 separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural
Go ahead and
recording.
time that. Okay, that's good enough. We're done with this side. Now to the other side. All right, well, before we go to the other side, I forgot we still have to tie the top hat of the spring onto the chassis of the car. I noticed that last time I did this, and when I was taking them off, they were pretty loose. So I think it's because I don't have lock washers. I only have these, and these start to back up. These are the ones that were on there. I don't think these are the original. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put just regular spacers, but these are not gonna actually help it from backing out. These are just gonna lift them a little higher so I don't have to thread them all the way down. Cause I don't think these are like low profile enough. So it's gonna basically lift it higher on the thread, which is what I want. I'm gonna use some Loctite on the threads, and that should hold it from backing out. All right, one quick tip I noticed to make it a little easier is go ahead and jack up the A-arm to relieve pressure off the bolts. It made it a lot easier to reassemble, so I'm gonna do that on the disassembly. Just a little bit, there you go.
emergency stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on 2 separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on 2 separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
All right, so we finished the back suspension. Now I'm gonna put the tires back on. I'm gonna go for a test drive, and then we'll attack the front. All right, so we're done with the back. The ride height in the back is terrible. Look how high it is. Oh my God, it's like a monster truck. Hopefully it'll settle a little better. All right, guys, so I just went on a test drive. Oh my God, it's a night and day difference. The car feels so much more planted. It feels like a newer car. Like, it doesn't feel all rattly and stuff. Wow. So if you got blown shocks, go ahead and change them. I'll leave a link down below. I'm gonna start working on the front, but I'm gonna leave a link down below to these. These were only $100. The reason people are asked, like, why didn't you go with coilovers? It's like, first, for this car, this is my second car. That's my first car. I don't have a budget to pay for coilovers for the car, and I wanted some kind of suspension mod. So spring and shock is the best I could afford. The springs set me back $150, which are Tein S-techs on eBay, and then these are basically stock replacement shocks with these stock replacement shocks. I don't know the brand of them, but they're $120 shipped on eBay. So in total, I spent 200 and what is that, 50, 60, 70, 270 bucks, which is not bad for suspension. If I would have gone the coilover route, brand new, I would at least spend anywhere from $700 to $1,000. So that's not that bad. I can't wait to take this car to the canyon because I know it's going to be ridiculous. So let's go ahead and start on the front. So I started on one side and I finished the front. It was a bitch. I wanted to learn how to do it. I watched some YouTube videos and I went on the forums. And let me show you. Here's one. It's already in. We got the Tein spring in there. The only thing with these shocks, which is probably not a good thing, I'm going to show you anyways, is that this shock is not for that 1.5 inch drop or whatever drop this spring actually has. So it has this. The back was fine, but this is not cool. So when we're lowering it, we're gonna have to kind of line it up, make sure it doesn't like get caught up in a weird way. And when it's like fully preloaded, like it is now, I feel like this is gonna shift, but it's gonna have to do for now. I think it'll be all right for the most part, as long as we line it up here. We'll be good. But let me go show you what we're gonna do on the other one, and I have to hurry up because I am losing a lot of light. So basically what I did to make my life easier, I don't know if you need to do this, but I think it helps out on dropping this spindle as low as possible to get that spring out, because the stupid top A-arm gets in the way. But I've seen people like step on it and pull it out. I don't know how they do that. I'm here by myself, so I can't really do that. So what I've done is I unbolted the sway bar on both sides, because that gives attention to the sway bar link, which holds the bottom A-arm. So I wanted the less tension. So the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead and disconnect that, and then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start disconnecting this bolt, this long bolt. You unscrew it and you pull it out this way, and this arm falls out. And then once you do that, you unscrew this screw right here, and that shock comes right out. So the socket, the extension's here. You're gonna break it, and here's the open. All right, so what I did first was get a hammer, just to get some on the other side. And then to pull that bolt out, get a pair of these pliers or vice grips. I don't know what these are called. Start sliding it this way. See how easy that is? Because what you're doing is you're loosening the A-arm, is what you're doing. So once you get it, you should be able to do it by hand now. There, the A-arm dropped. So just leave it, don't take it all the way out. Alright, so next what you do is you just push this down, slide it this way, pull up, and that shock will come right out. That's the fastest way I know how to do it. This is OEM. Don't forget to put this. If you don't, it's gonna get squeaky when it gets wet and stuff. So that prevents it from getting squeaky against the metal to metal. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and start installing this again.
I've got a
Alright guys, so we got this side in. It was a bitch. Don't take off that sway bar. It was a bitch. Hopefully you can do it without taking off the sway bar. I just figured give it more play. We got this side in too, so we're solid. One thing I left out in the video was the top hat on the actual shocks and springs have a little hole inside, and in that hole they're stripped. They're supposed to be like half of a circle, so when the shock shaft goes through, you're supposed to put a nut on it. So when I was trying to tie it, I was spinning the actual shock. So the way I took it off on the old ones, I just put like a vice grip. So in the video, when you see a time lapse, you actually see me do it on the old shocks that I'm replacing. I don't know if it was the front or the rear, but you can see it. I'll clamp it, and I don't care about them, and I didn't care about them because you can scratch the shaft. You don't want to do that on the new ones, because if you scratch the shaft and it goes down, it can mess up the seals in there, and you'll have the problem again where your shocks are leaking. So I actually had to do it to one of the new ones because it was spinning and it wasn't locking on the top hat. So basically what I did, the rag and a vice grip on the actual shaft on the new shock, and I was able to tie it by hand. So that's a quick tip. And also, if you guys have any questions on any of the Project Miata install videos, go ahead and leave comments. I check them often. So if you guys have any questions, I'll respond it as soon as possible. Remember I was telling you that it looked like a truck after I changed the shocks? Well, eventually after like an hour or two, it settled and it dropped a lot. So don't worry about that. That setup doesn't sit that high. In the next video, you'll see me doing a review of GMR, which is Glendora Mountain Road. And I do a walk around. You'll see how the car settled with the new shocks. And at the same time, I do a review of the Miata of how the new shock and spring setup do. But that $300 shock and spring setup, I'll leave in the description down below, is amazing. I took it up to the Canyons and it handled so great because the Miata platform is already great. So if you just do little mods like suspension mods and tire mods, it's a hell of a difference. I think the most important thing that you could do on a Miata, honestly, is getting grippy compound tires. That's probably the best mod you could do from the get-go. If you just have stock rims and you can't afford rims, that's fine. Just get some really grippy tires, and that Miata will perform amazingly. And if you can't afford shocks and spring setup, and your shocks are blown, check if your shocks are blown. The way you can check is if they're leaking. Go ahead and replace that, because that makes a big difference, because the platform of a Miata from out of factory is amazing. So I want to make a quick announcement. I'm going to be at a drift event filming a video and then hanging out with my friend Guy. If you guys remember that video where we installed the SR20, we're actually going to do like a drift video, and I'm going to catch up to him and talk to him how his car is doing. Now he has it running really nice and stuff. We're going to be at Granger Motor Circuit Friday, March 17th. From the events from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'm pretty sure it's open to the public. I don't know if they charge to get in, but I heard the owners there are pretty cool. So I'm hoping to get some nice cinematic shots and also do some ride-alongs. I'm gonna take my helmet, and I want to see if I can put the suction cups on the Miata so we could do some chase drifting, and I could lead in the Miata and they can follow me if they're drifting. But I believe the event's a Corolla event, but I believe all cars are invited. So I hope to see you guys out there. Don't be shy, come up and say hi. And that wraps it up. So don't forget to check out our online store at carsonboardchannel.com. All the proceeds to that help support all our short films. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.